Good morning and welcome every single one of you beautiful human beings. It is Tuesday, the 27th September. Guys, this is Pounds for Breakfast. We are live. It is London Open. We're about to have a ton of fun together. I hope you're pumped. I hope you're feeling it. We're about to get into it. So quick shout out to Melisi, Tumelo, Mkizi, Lana, Lizzo. Welcome, Heavenly Defended, Ruwan, Renisha, Petunia. Welcome, guys. Let me know where in the world you are joining us from. But obviously, without further ado, we want to jump straight in towards the end. We're going to have a little bit of extra time together. So I want to cover the basics, get into the news, get into some live trades, and we are going to do it. We got some power trades coming up today, guys. It is time to get excited. The world is in a mess, but if you're a trader, it's time to get excited because we're going to be doing some amazing things together. So guys, as always, remember to like and subscribe. Make sure you are linked up to the channel so that you never miss any of our new content and new uploads. As always, you can drop comments. I will get back to you guys as I see them. We will jump in them together. So we're going to jump into the news together this morning. And as always, as we usually do, we're going to focus on local. So let's jump straight in and let's get started. Beautiful. Guys, let me know again where in the world you're joining me from. It is super important. We love to know where every single one of our clients are joining from. But looking from a local perspective, guys, we're going to continue to see drama with Eskom. It is obviously necessary. A shake and a stir is obviously needed. But obviously the world is asking, what is really happening? It's embarrassing. South Africans are looking at this asking what changes are going to come. Now, personally, I think it needs to be privatized in order to be fixed. But hey, that's a personal opinion. Take that as you may. But the whole of today is dominated by Eskom, right? Kohlberg unit issues, Eskom. So this is going to continue to hit the rand negatively. And obviously, we're going to continue to look at that. South African rand is not doing good. We will jump into that in a second. Looking at US news, right? We are obviously going to focus on what the markets are doing in terms of hitting those new lows. Now, when we're seeing these articles, right, we're seeing a lot of negative articles. I already spent some time thinking about this last night, but ultimately when we see these articles talking about, massive new lows, when we talk about fear, when we talk about all these other things, right, these in most of the cases represent the greatest opportunity for trades. I'm going to show you why. The price action says it. We're seeing it in the news. We're seeing it in the data. So let's have a look when we get into the charts, but just know the world is looking pretty negative at this point in time. And again, there's never been a better time to be not only a trader, right? Because just being a trader alone is not enough, but to be a Globex 360 trader is on a whole new level. And there's a million reasons why. You guys know what the reasons are, whether it be cashback, whether it be Guardian Angel, whether it just be an absolutely amazing staff complement that always supports you and makes sure that you have everything you need. There's a million reasons, right? So I'm not going to dive into that because otherwise we're going to miss our live session. So looking at European data, right, pound sterling is essentially going to soon go below that parity against the dollar. So what does that mean? Euro dollar already has gone past the 1-to-1 ratio. The pound could do the exact same thing. So the whole world is eyeing out the dollar right now at this point in time. Tebi LB, welcome. Menelisi, welcome. Shamim, September, good morning, guys, all the way from Cape Town. Beautiful. Darius, how are you doing? My brother, heavily defended, all the way from Germany. Welcome, my dear sister. Welcome. Right. We have a massive day due for us from a fundamental perspective. We have Fed Chair Powell busy speaking, and that's going to happen at 1:30 this afternoon. Lagarde is speaking again also at 1:30. So we're going to see euro dollar chaos at 1:30. We need to be paying attention to this. We will be live for the New York Stock Exchange open, right? But core durable goods, definitely going to be something that moves. But if we're live until 4, right, this is really what I want to pay attention to. And sorry about the ads down below. Ads are absolutely horrible. I don't know who makes these things. But new home sales, CB consumer confidence is obviously where we would like to focus. So we're going to be jumping into quite a few things today. It's going to be fun. We're going to be having a ton of things we're going to dive into. But ultimately, guys, as always, one of my favorite things about the lives is your comments and engaging with me, telling me what it is you're seeing. And that is what we enjoy the most. That is what Globex 360 TV is all about. Not about me, not about this, but it's about you and these comments right here. That is what we love. And that's what it's all about. So continue, drop the love. If I don't respond to you immediately, I promise I will read through them. after live sessions, I do go and read through, and the team goes through, whether it be sales, whether it be support, we go through these comments and we make sure that you are happy. All right, so let's jump into it. And we want to start to look at having the charts in front of us, because that is what the movements, and that's what today is really going to be about. And you guys know how we start. We generally start with the dollar index. So without further ado, let's just jump straight in and we're going to get into that dollar index. But first, there is a but first, right? If you guys have not yet already made sure you've liked and subscribed, go ahead and do that right now so that you never miss a brand new upload, right? As always, it's super important, helps the algorithm realize that you like this content and it's something that you want to see, and we push it out to more and more clients. Right, so having a look at dollar index this morning, dollar is still absolutely dominating the markets. We saw a little bit of that temporary weakness yesterday afternoon, and really only coming into play in effect today. A little bit of a gap on the data for the day. And when we see these gaps, right, when we see market close, market open gap, it's telling us that there's an imbalance in terms of what the market's are busy seeing. So these types of gaps is definitely something we want to be paying attention to. It could lead to potential weakness or signs on the dollar or some sort of downside weakness. Now, giving Euro USD a look, I've re-looked at the charts, I've re-looked at the data, because I think there's massive opportunity here. And, you know, I don't want to miss it. I think that's the biggest issue, is I don't want to miss any sort of opportunity. So I've reanalyzed Euro USD. I'm looking at a monthly, right? I'm looking at, you know, how can the dollar get so strong? Where are we going? What is busy happening? And ultimately, you know, I'm looking at this bottom area here and, you know, where is this heading to? Where are we ultimately going? So I've realigned my support, and this is a monthly view, right? From a weekly view, you can see that where we've spiked to is in line and expectation of that massive resistance level, support level we have running right across. And that is pretty much a 20-year resistance level, right? So just understand this from an investment opportunity, from a swing trading opportunity, right? If you're at a, you know, multi-year low, whether it be 10, 20, 30-year low, what you need to understand is that if there's a change in direction, if you're able to, I mean, that's the ultimate goal of trading, right? Is buying at absolute lows and selling at absolute highs. This is the absolute low. So we have to consider the long position from a support perspective. Regardless of what the world is saying, dollar's strong, euro's losing value, pound's losing value, we have to consider a Euro USD long possibility, right? So just keep that in the back of your minds, because we are looking at scalping out some of these moves, and we will dive deeper and deeper into this, because it is looking pretty for a potential on a buy on someday, right? It could be today, it could be tomorrow, but we are going to be paying a bit more attention to this. And it's basically going to be from this perspective here that we're going to be essentially shopping Euro USD, but we have a little bit of room for a little bit further of a push to the downside, just from a price action, pure price action perspective. Now, generally speaking, I would go deeper into some of the other currency pairs. However, we have hit that 9 a.m. mark, and I just want to have a look at what is happening on US 30 so that we don't miss any potential moves that we could be seeing this afternoon. Right now, I'm not seeing any missed opportunities, so I'm just going to drop into the 1 minute and just have a look at what we're seeing here. Okay, so having a look at Euro USD, we can see that the RSI gave us a temporary little buy signal right there, right? So we're getting that essentially, it would have been divergence, right? Because if you guys have a look here, Euro USD making these little lower lows, sorry, not Euro USD, US 30, making these lower lows, and we see on the RSI, we're getting those higher lows, that's divergence, and then we get a break in RSI structure towards the top side. Small pop, nothing big, nothing to write home about. However, what we want to be looking for this morning, and what I'm primarily looking out for, is, you know, do we get a break below that level? Because that'll start to give us an indication as to what I keep saying Euro USD, right? I'm excited about Euro USD and it's stuck in my head. And apologies for that. US 30, obviously. Again, I want to look for that break in the 500 moving average, right, which will also be a break in structure. So that's really what I'm looking out for this morning. So while we're talking about other items and while I'm analyzing other things, I just want to go ahead and quickly just set up some alerts here at that level. And I'm simply just going to be looking at, if we break that whilst I'm potentially speaking about other items. Okay, so that's set. I'm not so stressed that we're going to miss a potential trade there. So I'm happy, and we can go back to USD ZAR, because I think that is where we're going to have to also be paying quite a bit of attention this week. Again, if you're living in South Africa, this is going to apply to you. If you're not even living in South Africa, this is still going to apply to you because there's money to be made and you want to be paying attention to this. Okay, so let's jump straight into it and have a look at what USD ZAR has to offer us. So as per the past set of analyses, you guys know the bigger structure. So I'm not going to re-go over all of the bigger analysis. You obviously have to understand by now where we're going in terms of USD ZAR. We've popped through that 61.8, made a push to the 78.6, and potentially, right, I want you to see this, potentially we could start to see some sort of pullback with that 78.6 to come back to some sort of level of support. So let's give this a look here, right? So we punched through the 78.6 yesterday, right? We're looking at a daily time frame. Yesterday, we smashed that 78.6. We reached a high yesterday of 18 Rand 13 cents to $1, right? We're raking and just reaching and poking down below 78.6. But also, please remember, round numbers are psychological resistance / supports, right? So when we look at this 18 Rand to the dollar level, right, and we just go back in the past, we're going to see that this 18 Rand to the dollar level is essentially what held price up, right, in 2020 at pretty much the height of the pandemic, right? This 18 Rand psychological level is essentially what gave USD ZAR the legs to make that spike through to the 19 Rand 15, 19 Rand 16 mark, right? So it's going to be a very important and crucial level for us. And specifically rejecting off of that means there is an opportunity for a USD ZAR potential sell. But again, I would like to see where we close out today. And then I would obviously like to see on a 4-hour, what does that data look like, right? We can currently see we're making a scallop formation. If we have a look at a 1-hour time frame, you can see it right there. We can see price losing momentum towards the top side. We can see, this is not creating perfect market structure. The closest thing to market structure you're going to see is that. But this is a typical scallop, right? Where we're now starting to make lower lows. Now, how do you deal with this trade, right? If you're looking at this right now, you're saying, Dane, this is great. Thank you for that. But how do we deal with this? When you see a scallop or you see markets, making a double top and you're anticipating a potential lower low, how do you deal with this? Do you just jump straight into a sell, or what do you wait for? Generally, in most cases, right, a scallop is a trade that runs, right? Meaning once that guy starts to flatten out and you see a loss of momentum towards the top side or less buyers or bulls in that particular market, we tend to see quite a significant drop. So when you start to see a scallop, I generally don't trade this manually or place an immediate market execution. You generally want to deal with this from a pending order perspective, right? Through use of pending order, right? Pretty simple. So how do we deal with this? I would like to, in this particular case, I would like to short out ZAR. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a sell stop on ZAR, and I'm looking at that 17 Rand 88 mark, right? For what reason? Reason being that we've then not only broke support 1, 2, and 3, right? But ultimately, this would also then coincide and mean that we are absolutely with certainty outside of this rising structure, and we can then start to fall to the downside, and we are then below that 78.6. From a risk perspective, right, I would be looking for a stop loss in line with this market structure, but yet above this diagonal here. So we can measure that. And if you're on MT4, that's a great thing. You can open up an order and still center click with your mouse or utilize your crosshair tool to go and measure and see what it is you want to do here. So in this particular case, I would ideally, in the perfect world, like an 18 Rand 2 cents and 62 pips, right? So 18 Rand 2 cents 67 pips is ultimately from a stop perspective where I'd want to be. Meaning, if I'm wrong, I want to be wrong immediately, and I want to be wrong above that 78.6. But if I'm right, just measuring here, I just want to show you the type of opportunity that comes with putting the time, putting the effort in, and analyzing and putting in the work, right? Where can this go to? Well, ultimately, we can take multiple take profits here, but if we break structure, we could potentially see the Rand getting back down to the 17 Rand to the dollar before making its next move 18, 19, 20 before the end of the year. And remember, we only have 2 months towards the end of the year, so we're going to see some volatility, some movement. But back to my point, right? We could see a deeper take profit at the 16 Rand 99 cents flat to $1. So just to give you an example of this, right? When we talk about risk reward ratio, we're talking about being wrong immediately, and we want to be right long term, right? You need to understand that. Don't be afraid of being wrong, right? Trading is not about being right or wrong. And I think a lot of traders ask me this question when they see live events, they see analysis, they ask me, how is it we're able to spot certain things, play certain trades, predict market moves, right? And when I say predict, I'm not saying rubber golden ball, but based on the data, we're saying what is the probability of something happening? And they're asking, what's the trick? What's the tool? Experience, right? As with everything, the more time you put into learning an art and a craft and a skill, the better it is that you'll obviously be getting into it. But B, it's not about being right or wrong, right? If you look at trading from a trading perspective, and if you take a coin, now this is going to sound absolutely crazy, but you need to understand, listen to what I'm busy saying. If you took 5 different charts, right, and you flipped a coin for each chart, head representing buy, a tail representing sell, right? Market can only go up or down. 50-50 chance of it going up or down. 50-50 chance when you flip a coin. So if you picked 5 different charts, 5 different assets, and if you flicked to heads, listen to what I'm saying now, because this is going to be controversial. If you flicked to heads and you bought that chart, and if it landed on tails, you sold it, provided that when you bought it, right, you have a 1 to 10 risk reward ratio, meaning what? If you're risking 100 pips, your take profit needs to be 1,000, right? You could lose 9 of those trades, 8 of those trades, just by guessing, and the 2 that you win still ultimately end in a net profit, net positive position. Listen to what I'm busy saying. 8 trades of the 10 trades you lose at 100 pips. What is that? 800 pip negative. You got an 800 pip drawdown. But the 2 that you're allowed to win, the 2 that you're allowed to run, that I have a 1 to 10 risk reward ratio, meaning you're making 1,000 pips a trade, means that you've lost 800, but you've made 2,000. You're net positive 1,200 pips by flipping a coin, by literally going ping, waiting for the coin to land. So trading is not about being right or wrong. Trading is about risk management. Trading is about risk reward ratios, and you need to understand that. And this trade behind me is a perfect example of that. The example that if I'm wrong, right, if this trade doesn't go the way I want it to, and I'm looking at a 3-lot position on ZAR, right, I could be wrong for about $2,200, $2,400, right? But in the event that I am correct, in the event that this trade moves, this would be a $15,000 position per trade, right? So again, if I'm wrong, it's probably a 40,000 Rand negative, right? But in the event that I'm right, it's a 250,000 Rand trade. That's per position. That's the types of trades that you want to be in. When you're wrong, be wrong immediately. If you're right, you want to be right long term. So please pay attention to USD ZAR. Now, looking back at US30 really quickly, this is back on the 1 minute time frame, because I am seeing some movement here at the corner of my eye. Remember where we were sitting yesterday, right? We were looking at US30 and the probability or the possibility of that pop towards the top side. Yesterday afternoon, we didn't get that. We got a movement, a slight move to the top side. And I sent a message to the group saying, guys, please monitor US30 for a downside move. I don't know how many of you guys caught that move, but ultimately US30 then moved for well over 3,000 pips. Again, I'm still have that long bias on US30. You need to understand this market structure is on another level, right? From a 15-minute time frame and perspective, I know it's a little bit messy. I do have a cleaner US30 time frame somewhere else, not here. There's a cleaner one somewhere else. Ultimately, these are my little internal notes, internal analysis. What you need to understand is that should we break this diagonal, right? Should we break this low of the 16th of June this year, we are in for a massive bull run, and we can't deny that. I'm going to look at a 1 hour, right? And maybe let's do 4 hour. I think you'll get a little bit more detail, and I might have to remove my face. So remember, 6-month low on indices across the board. Worst 6 months in the markets across the board, doesn't matter where it is that you look, right? Worst 6 months. Now, what we end up seeing is this move where we are essentially at that market low, where we're at that market bottom, right? Worst 6 months right there. We've come back to that level, and we've got some very unique price action in the sense that we've got a bear market. We've broke below that bear market. So what does this mean? What does this mean from a market participant's perspective? And I want you to see this. Whenever you have a bear structure, so you have a market that's trending downwards, very clearly, there's a lot more bears in this market. There's a lot more sellers in this market than there are buyers. And then you see, okay, so markets are ranging downwards. And then you see a market further extend down, meaning it breaks already bear structure. What you need to understand about that is we are then in an overextension. That market's overextended itself towards the downside, right? Meaning that it could be a false move, right? So bear market structure, overextension towards the downside. Again, if we recover not only above this diagonal, but above that 6-month low, which is the worst 6 months or start of any year, I believe in the last 20 years, then US30 is on for a buy. And things are about to get really serious on US30, and I'm quite excited about that. Now, looking at this morning, oh, there we go. We're already popping out, right? So I'm busy speaking about it, and we're already moving and shaking towards the top side. That pop is busy happening. Let's just quickly see there. Number 9 is saying, thank you for the stream. Epic stuff. Absolute pleasure. Goodwin saying, good morning, team. Abel, Dwayne, Mackenzie, Paul, beautiful, Yolify, Sadie, Lizzo, Tebi LB, and Lissy, Shamim. Okay, so US30 is already moving, right? Again, and that's the difficulty about being passionate about the markets, is I love speaking about the market. So what we're going to do is, in this case, it is completely up to you whether you wish to chase US30 to the top side. On my side, however, what I'm going to be doing today is I don't care about any intra movements. I don't care about any scalps right now. I'm interested in the long-term game, the long-term plan with this market structure. Yesterday, we were essentially going to try and punch topside, rejected. We are at that moment where we've not only gone through the diagonal, but now that 6-month low, which was once massive support, is now resistance, is essentially within our grasp, right? And this is what I essentially want to pay the most attention to coming up today. So guys, let me know what it is you're seeing, and what do you think from your perspective? Do you think is going to end up happening on US30? Do you see what I see? Is there any questions about where this is potentially going? Because it is super important that not only A, you understand the opportunity, but B and C, that you ask about it and that you get the answers that you need. That's the most important thing. And that's what this channel is really all about. So just having a look at the comments really quickly. Okay, you guys are good. You guys are calm. That's a good thing. So I'm assuming everybody understands. If I can get a thumbs up, if I can get a tick. And guys, there's a few of you watching right now and you have not liked the stream. Go ahead and hit that like button. It really helps the YouTube algorithm understand that real human beings are liking the show, and it can recommend it to other people. So a small one click of a button goes a long way, not only to taking the stream to the whole new level, but ultimately sharing with somebody else out there that might be paying tens of thousands of rands to get information that does not apply to them and doesn't help them in any way, shape, or form. So it goes a really long way, not only for the show, but for us as a whole. So guys, we are going to jump into it, and obviously keep an eye in terms of what is busy happening, but obviously want you to monitor and look at things from your side as well. And please make sure that when you're looking at these items, risk management is obviously absolutely key, because that is what it is all about. Looking at these items, taking risk, taking stock into account, and benefiting from these moves. So I don't think we're going to see the break in terms of a long below, above that multi, the first 6 months of the year. I think this is going to play out throughout the day, but specifically if there's going to be a catalyst that could push USDT topside, what could that be? Right, I'm asking in the comments, guys, today, in terms of the data, what do you think in the economic calendar today could be the catalyst? I'm going to tell you the answer, but I'd like to see who was paying attention. What do you think is going to be the catalyst to push indices topside? Let me ask the question in the comments. Let me know. What's the right? Jollify is saying, what's the right to sell USDT today? My brother, please rephrase your comment. I have no idea what you're asking. That would be great. Quayson saying, great analysis, slowly getting the hang of things. Any trade to take right now? Well, ideally, yes, there was a USDT buy. As I've shown you guys at 9 o'clock, there's a shift and change in markets. There's a shift and change in terms of a direction that markets pop out. And I've essentially spoken about that in the last couple live sessions, right? Specifically the London session. So ultimately, Java, in terms of giving you a direct answer, 9 o'clock, shift in structure, RSI gives you that hint, and then that market pops. But again, don't take a trade for the sake of taking a trade, right? Let it meet your requirements. Let it meet you at your point where it makes sense. So to answer your question, right, was there a trade to take? Yes, I've spoken about this and I've taught this. It's that pop at 9 o'clock, which today happened a few minutes later, but ultimately, you know, revealed itself a little bit earlier on the RSI, and that's where I started the broadcast, that initial pop, and do we hold support? And it obviously did, and it popped off towards the top side. So that is the technical answer. Mackenzie, Papa Powell, yes, right? So again, Mackenzie saying and answering my question with regards to which item do we think today could essentially tip the scales in terms of, you know, what we're looking at or what we could potentially see absolutely push the markets through to the next level. Mackenzie saying Papa Powell could be a catalyst. I agree. I certainly think that Powell could be the catalyst that could pop off. And I remember that essential speech, and I spoke about this yesterday, the markets are super sensitive. That speech is going to be happening at 1:30 today. Remember, we're only live at 3 o'clock for the New York Stock Exchange Open. We might actually be live at 3:15 to condense the show and make it a little bit more time efficient, but I'll communicate that in the course this morning. 3:15, I think, is where it's going to be. That discussion, that speech can happen 3:30. So you're flying solo for that speech. What you want to look for is you want to look for dollar weakness, right? Anything he says here that could bring back hope to the markets, because I think Wall Street is looking for hope at this point. But again, it's another catalyst that could come in that we will potentially trade live together is going to be CB consumer confidence, right? If we see that consumer confidence drops on the dollar at 4 o'clock, again, a weaker dollar means a stronger stock market, higher indice rates across the board. So that is potentially what we're going to look for this afternoon. So massive opportunities. Look at USD-ZAR, look at USDT, look across the board against other commodities, and let me know what it is you guys are looking at. Please always share when you jump into the stream. Feel free to drop what it is that you're seeing into the comments. Tell me what you're seeing. You're seeing a long, you're seeing a short, what is the asset and why? I would love that, because that gives me an opportunity to take what you're saying, look at it myself, and we meet each other somewhere in between. Guys, thank you for joining in this live session. Again, the big trade I'm looking for today is that USDT pop top side, ZAR short, and we will obviously continue to add definite options to that list on the New York Stock Exchange Open this afternoon. But as always, guys, make sure you have your live accounts. Our New York Stock Exchange Opens are going to be limited to clients who have funded live accounts with Globex 360. Now remember, it costs you absolutely nothing. It's just the requirement for you to have a live and funded account to participate and take part with us. And that is obviously to make sure that we give our clients, our funded clients, the absolute best. And it's not a just public service for absolutely everybody. So you want to get sorted. You want to make sure that is done. It's pay weekend. It's pay month, guys. Get it sorted. I promise you, if you need another reason to delay it, you're going to be sitting and walking into 2023 the same way you walked into 2022. And we cannot allow that to happen. All right, guys, thank you for joining. As always, your time Your presence is appreciated. The comments are appreciated. You guys are amazing. I absolutely love every single one of you. And I'll see you guys all this afternoon, 3:15. Let's see what we can do in the market this afternoon. And let's see if we can start to get back on that winning streak that we had over the past couple weeks, right? Let's see how big we can make this week and end the month super strong and in profit. Guys, as always, remember to live, learn, and trade and do things Globex 360 way. As always, I'm your host, Dane from Us. It's been a pleasure, and I'll see you guys a little bit later. Goodbye.